Good morning. We shall describe the clinical features of carious lesions on smooth surfaces, occlusal surfaces, and root surfaces. We shall relate the clinical features to their histological features. We shall consider enamel and dentin together, the reason being, number one, as a clinician, you will see them in the same way. Number two, you cannot understand changes in dentin during carious progression and carious rest without considering the spread of the enamel lesion. Number three, changes in dentin occur before the enamel lesion cavitates. Removal of the biofilm will arrest the lesion in dentin as well as the lesion in enamel. Number four, the lesion in both enamel and dentin entirely reflects the activity of the bacterial biofilm. Before I start talking about the clinical and histological features of enamel, features of dental caries, you must know the basic structure of enamel and dentin. So let me explain it. Sound enamel consists of crystals of hydroxyapatite packed tightly together in an orderly arrangement, which is known as enamel prism or enamel rod. The crystals are so tightly packed that enamel gets a glass-like appearance and appears translucent. This is the reason that it allows the color of dentin to shine through it. Here, you should know that even though the crystal packing is very tight, each crystal is actually separated from its neighbors by tiny intercrystalline spaces or pores. These spaces are filled with water and organic material. When enamel is exposed to acids produced in the microbial biofilm, mineral is removed from the surface of the crystal, which shrinks in size. Thus, the intercrystalline spaces enlarge and the tissue becomes more porous. This increase in porosity can be seen clinically as a white spot. This photograph shows enamel microstructure as a schematic diagram of keyhole-shaped enamel prisms or rods of about 5 micrometer in diameter. These images show the cross sections and along the axis of prisms taken via atomic force microscopy. Crystallite orientation deviates in the interrod and tail area, and the organic content increases in the interrod area. At this stage, to help you understand better, I shall explain about the enamel caries. The repeated acid attack causes repeated demineralization and remineralization of enamel rods. Once the extent of demineralization supersedes, the interrod matrix starts losing the inorganic content, which is mainly hydroxyapatite. The early enamel lesions that appear as chalky spot or white spot on smooth surface below contact area are distinctly divided into 4 zones at histological level. These zones are starting from dentino-enamel junction towards enamel surface. Number 1, translucent zone. Number 2, dark zone. Number 3, body zone. And number 4, surface zone. This photograph shows early enamel caries. The ground section is being viewed by polarized light after immersion in quinoline. Quinoline has filled the large pores, causing most of the fine detail in the body of the lesion to disappear. But the dark zone with its smaller pores is accentuated. This photograph also shows early enamel caries. The ground section is being viewed by polarized light after immersion in water. The body of the lesion and the intact surface layer is visible. The translucent and dark zones are not seen until the section is viewed immersed in quinoline. In the translucent zone, there is 1% mineral loss. This is the earliest and deepest mineralization. It is broader in progressing caries but narrow or absent in arrested or remineralized caries lesion. In dark zone, there is 2% to 4% mineral loss overall, but a zone of remineralization just behind the advancing front will be present. This zone is broader in arrested or remineralized lesions, but narrow in advancing lesions. In the body zone, there will be 5 to 25% mineral loss. It is broader in progressing caries, which is replaced by a broad dark zone in arrested or remineralized lesion. In the surface zone, there is 1% mineral loss. A zone of remineralization is present that results from the diffusion barrier and mineral content of the plaque. Cavitation is loss of this layer, allowing bacteria to enter the lesion. It has relatively constant width, being a little thicker in arrested or remineralizing lesions. What is the clinical significance of this piece of knowledge? It is important to know the histopathology of enamel caries, as this knowledge will help you in preventing the further progression of the caries lesions into the dentin. Once you know about enamel caries, you can adopt preventive measures to revert back the situation, thus not allowing the cavitation of the enamel. You can suggest plaque removal techniques like proper toothbrushing, flossing, antibacterial or fluoride mouthwashes, or even you can go for professional fluoride application if patient or the guardian in cases of minor patient consent for it. Thank you for watching this video. I would suggest that you subscribe to this channel so that you get benefits of other educational videos once it is uploaded. You may also share it with your friends so that you can discuss the topic or topics and solidify your theory. This way you will be able to answer MCQs correctly, and during your Viva you will be very confident. Take good care of yourself. Bye bye.